Sup amigos, it's your boy Tello, back to you in another video for today. The video you're about to see today was actually something we shot on stream, and I thought it was a really good video. I normally don't shoot my videos on Twitch, but selfish plug, HelloJTello, come hang out at the club where it's lit every night, and much love to you, and we're locking it in. I know my voice is a little raspy right now. Woke up pretty late today, however though, we're going from there, and I hope you guys, just enjoy the video and leave me, your thoughts and opinions on this entire response from Agron in the comments below. How do you feel about it? Do you feel like SOD, should have continued? Do you feel like you're happy it's like pretty much done? And just go from there. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.
This is an update from the WoW Classic team. So Agron basically said, greetings. As you may have read here, we're excited to offer those of you who have completed the Balnazar encounter in Scarlet Enclave Raid a free Mist of Pandaria Classic boost. We believe that it would be a great capstone for Season of Discovery to offer those of you who are looking into embarking basically your next classic adventure. And this opportunity has, go through Mist Classic right away when it launches with the boost. And when we look back onto the journey we've taken into Season of Discovery, we're incredibly proud of the time we got to spend with all of you in this unique take on this original version of World of Warcraft. From the first moments that players sat down at the demo stations at BlizzCon in 2023, we knew we had something special, and it was wild to think that it's been over 18 months since we announced it, it is honestly true. I mean, when I saw people playing at those demo stations, I remember seeing different point of views. I believe S-Fan was playing it as well for a little bit, and he was talking about like paladins and stuff, like, oh, they have like Divine Storm, Crusader Strike, all this stuff, and I was just hearing it out. I was like, man, this sounds wild, bro. Like, and also up to only level 25, phase 1. It was a very special time in SOD, very unique time where people just like didn't know what was going on, and we were just excited to just dive in there. Like, what kind of new quest did they add? What kind of new raid is really being involved? Like, just a really enjoyable time, right? And it was organic, which was like really nice, and that's why it was a super popular phase. Phase 1 and Phase 2 were super popular. So let's keep reading. When we think of the impact Siege of Discovery will ultimately have on World of Warcraft, we think about how it helped prove something that a lot of us already knew. There is an enormous appetite for new experiences set against the backdrop of the OG WoW, which is very true. People want to play within Azeroth and grow within Azeroth. They don't want to leave Azeroth. They don't want to go to any other expansion. They want to stay in World of Warcraft and see the unused assets come to life and more ideas come to play. And small little tweaks of classes, not anything major. As soon as the Realms went live and we saw the response, we knew we had an unprecedented opportunity to immerse ourselves in new concepts and ideas and see what works and what doesn't. And that is very true, right? They got the data of what they saw in Season of Discovery, what they didn't like, and stuff that they did appreciate, and players also appreciated as well. Several months ago, as we wrapped up development on Naxxramas and Karazhan Crypts, we had originally planned for that to be the final content update to Season of Discovery, and this is indeed true. However, we couldn't let go of the one major unrealized dream of SOD, the Scarlet Enclave. We looked at our schedule and decided to take a risk in order to make time to create this new raid tier and really punctuate the SOD experience with something special. We are very glad we did. It's been incredibly fun to play and progress through the new content with you. And I was saying this, like, if they didn't get a good reception from Karazhan Crypts and how much people were enjoying Naxxramas and just enjoying that phase overall, we would have never had a Phase 8. Phase 7 would have been completely shunned off. There was no point for them to continue forward. And I felt like if they cut it off then, I would be even disappointed even more, because they showed Scarlet Enclave. Remember at BlizzCon, when they first did this in 2023, they showed like Scarlet Enclave, some type of raid, Scarlet-themed raid, being available for Season of Discovery. And the fact that if they would have never did it past Phase 7, and we didn't get anything like Karazhan Crypts Relation, or the hard mode stuff with Naxxramas, or even Scarlet, people would have been so more disappointed than what's going on right now. So it's kind of really cool to see that it took passion from us as the community and us as players to say, hey, we like this stuff. We want to see this continue. Can we see something else? And I'm really happy that they decided to, whatever, regardless of what happened with this phase, even though there was like, tuning issues, yada yada, at least they took the risk. And sometimes when you take a risk, you got to remember, it's a double-edged sword. It can be good, it can be bad, right? A risk is a risk, and people will hate on you no matter what happens, even if it's good. Or if it's bad, people might appreciate you if it's bad and try to make light out of that, and then they'll hate on you again. It's just, how the WoW player base is. We flip-flop a lot, and it's totally understandable why people do this. But let's continue. So, Season of Discovery it was a success beyond our wildest imagined back in 2023. We learned so much. We grew as a team, both literally and figuratively. We've been invigorated. I can't speak sometimes, so don't pack my ass up for the future like never before. The future for SOD is somewhat bittersweet, as we made the decision to slow down on SOD and begin working on our next major project in the original WoW design space. Now, this gets me excited. This right here gets me very excited. I'm going to highlight this line right here for you, chat. This right here gets me super excited. The future of SOD is somewhat bittersweet, but we've made the decision to slow down on SOD and begin working on our next major project in the original WoW design space. Now, this leads me to question a couple things that we'll talk about right now, as you know, from the chatters here. So, if you guys are here from Twitch, say hi to YouTube. Much love to you, amigos. Lock on in. You already know. Yeah. All right. However, settle down. But I really feel like that when it comes to them stopping Season of Discovery to work on a future project, right? I feel like that this is a good choice because they take everything that they took from SOD, all the imperfections, all the problems, all the issues, all the complaints, the forum posts, the errors, the tuning problems, the slowdowns, the quick pace, all the stuff that they saw, and try to fit it in a better tube. Try to make a better experimentation out of what comes next. Now, I'm not going to say here and be honest with you guys, and I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not going to fuck up again, because of course, fuck ups happen. We're human. We make mistakes, but it's how we learn from these fuck ups, how we can grow as a community, how we can better the game as we keep pushing forward and find the passion to want the developers to continue doing their job the best that they can. And I think personally, for me, the only time that I thought the SOD devs really extremely went wrong, besides PvP, and I think you guys know how I feel about that in terms I really wish they did more for PvP, and I've talked with Agron about this as well, but I do think that the biggest thing that I didn't appreciate from not the devs, but the management over there at Blizzard, and I'm assuming this is what happened, this is not set in stone, but I'm just assuming, is when Phase 3 was happening and also Cataclysm was happening, a lot of players were drifted off of SOD to Cataclysm, and they were forced to work on another game while working on Season of Discovery, while working on, eventually cooking up Anniversary. I'm sure they were working on tons of things. And as a human being, right, just as a person, that's a lot. That takes a lot of responsibility. That takes a lot of hours, a lot of time, and people get overworked. You lead to a burnout. I understand what that's like. I remember when I was working overtime shifts at my job, I did not want to stay the 3 extra hours. I was forced to do it, and it sucked. And I was doing that at one point, like 60, 70 hours a week. I was exhausted, dude. I was burnt, having to come home, remote log in, do stuff I don't want to do on a day off. That's not fun. And you have to keep that in mind, that happens. That's the reality of things outside of World of Warcraft, and these developers probably face on a daily basis working for a major company. So I can understand that was something that I was a little upset about. I wouldn't say annoyed or anything like that. I was just a little, bitter upset because I was like, man, I really wish they continue putting all hands on SOD. And that Blizzard, not the devs, but Blizzard as a total, realizes that Season of Discovery was booming for them. It was amazing. And it is the one time where I can't find the clip, and I wish I did find it. I was talking about Hammer with this, where they were announcing numbers, like 10 plus million players playing their game when Phase 1, Phase 2 was going on. Like, so many accounts logged in. Whether those were actual people, that's debatable. But still, that's a lot of, accounts. And they were, showing numbers for the very first time. And that's something that Blizzard doesn't do. Like, between me and you guys can say this in the comments or even Twitch chat, when's the last time Blizzard announced analytics? Like, genuinely. When is the last time Blizzard has announced data of how many players are playing at least Classic WoW? I'm not sure what's going on in the retail scene. I'm not here to talk about that, because obviously I know my lane from retail. I'm just talking about Classic. How many actual players are playing, regardless of Ironforge Pro, any logs that any of creators have used. I'm talking about legit data of, player accounts, bot accounts, anything. I don't think there's any time we've ever seen that. So, for me, it's been something that was very special when they did that for Season of Discovery. Like they saw a boom in their quarterly analytics, and they probably were talking about that on their business end and saying, you know what, we got something special here. We might as well keep cooking. And then they gave Agron, the mantle to just keep pushing this baby forward. So I'm really happy with SOD overall. But let's keep going with the post so we not rant all day. We have big plans and big ambitions for this type of found photograph content set in the original world of Azeroth. It's basically saying like the Season of Discovery style content. That's the way they're talking about that. But in order to realize those ambitions, we need to make sure we're spending our time where it will make the most impact on long-term future of WoW Classic. That, in my eyes, right here is saying Classic Plus. That's saying the extension of whatever World of Warcraft is in the future. Whether that's WoW 2, WoW Classic Plus, I don't care what the name is. There's 1,000 different things you can say, but obviously there is something else coming in the future. Now, whether that's a year or two down the line, doesn't matter. Something is dwelling, and they are working on it, which is pretty cool, and I would want to play it too. They say, we want to set ourselves up for success by taking time we need to get in the proverbial kitchen and cook. All right, they want to cook it up and iterate on and shape our ideas and lessons learned from SOD into something truly exciting, which I cannot wait for. And Season of Discovery is always meant to be an ephemeral seasonal experience, of course. I understand that. And while it became so much more for a time, we're extremely excited about things we were working on in the future. And this is what I want to explain right here. I want to explain this sentence real quick, because I've had users come in my previous video too, and they'll say that, don't you understand this was a seasonal experience? Like, how do you not understand that? I get that. Let's also look at it from a dev perspective with their own wording right here. While it became so much more for a time, because it did, Season of Discovery, for a lot of players, was their main game. They logged on with their guilds, played actively in the world. This was their main game. You can ask any single creator, people in chat or whoever, anybody in general that actually played the game, this was their main game. It wasn't considered seasonal because it was so damn good. And that is the problem sometimes with something that is seasonal. For example, I was a big Diablo guy. I loved playing seasonal realms even in D3. And I was having so much fun in season sometimes, I forgot that I was playing the game. Like, I forgot that this character is going to get converted to regular at some point. And that's kind of the similar experience where, at least for me personally, not for any of you guys, but for me personally, Season of Discovery was my baby. I loved it. Like, I loved getting on, playing with my guild, doing BGs, and having club nights with the boys and the girls, and just having a good time, partying, doing fishing, just macking, and I still love SOD, but I didn't consider it some type of, it's this like part-time experience. For a lot of people, this was a full-time thing. They were gun-ho on SOD, and I'm very proud of every moment. I don't regret anything. And even if SOD is obviously at this point where it's officially entering its classic stage or its era stage, I'm proud of it. I loved every time, every moment I spent, whether it was good or bad. For me, Season of Discovery was something that I can call home, and I found great people that loved SOD as well. And if people didn't like SOD, that's totally fine. The game wasn't for everybody. But I stand true and 10 toes down of what I said, that SOD created a new community. It's not retail, it's not classic, it's Season of Discovery players. And it was a new community created from it, that people wanted to test new things within Azeroth and see the old world grow. And that's why I'm a big fan, or I'm not a big fan, excuse me, when I was talking about this with Shobek, and Shobek's on the same page as well, of people saying, hashtag no changes. Because I'm a fan of changes. I think changes are good for the future. If you always have something that never changes, it never grows or expands or moves into something that it can become beautiful. Not saying that it wasn't beautiful before, but after a while, when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you tend to find yourself wanting something new. And even if it's still the old world, I would love to see new things provided for it. And it doesn't need to take away from the original classic experience. You could always leave that classic experience there. But Classic Plus, or whatever comes next, I want to see the next stage in evolution on where it goes to become a better game for an overall healthier player base, with better decisions made from the developers, from the community, and also the policies of the TOS as well in place to further implement security for the game. That's what I believe. Let's continue reading. We have no plans to shut down the SOD realms, and we hope to see the game mode continue to operate similar to WoW Classic era for many months, if not years to come. We all grown attached to our characters like you have, and we're happy to continue the adventure with you as long as you like. Now, this is something I want to highlight right here, that they say, we hope to see the game mode continue to operate similar to WoW Classic era for many months, if not years to come. And this is what I was talking about in my last VOD as well, about transparency, because I think a lot of players and us as creators, we knew that the devs didn't really have 100% an idea as of yet, and that's why Agron, I believe an earlier post was even saying that, like, you know, they're still figuring things out, you know, and that's totally fine. It takes time to figure things out, especially when you have a lot of people involved with something that they really love, you know, and I truthfully believe that they didn't have a solidified answer to what the ending of SOD was going to be, where SOD was going to go, where the players were going to be at. They didn't know 100% yet. But with Mist of Pandaria coming out, with the power scaling feeling close to similar of what MOP felt like, right, at its time, and also people enjoying Anniversary, even though it has its issues, people are enjoying Anniversary, they felt like it was the right thing to do to make the conversion from SOD into MOP, and then work on continuing the next version of the game that they want to provide for the Classic era or Classic style enthusiasts, right? And I will say that when they say many months, it does sound alarming, and it is scary as a transparency thing. Why I bring that word up so much is because Blizzard stands behind this word. They stand behind player trust, community feedback, player growth. These are their pillars of the Blizzard community that they want to always acknowledge and stand by. And when it comes to the word many months, if not years, I'm still questioning what that exactly means. And how long is it really? Because now, even then with that wording, it could be a little alarming. But at the same time, I understand that they still appreciate SOD, and I believe that they'll have some type of end resolution where SOD players can feel comfortable, at least, with their characters, even if it, you know, comes down to like a 15-20k player base, right? At some point, which it most likely will at like other, you know, servers. But it is what it is. I'm very happy that we've had our time with the game, and I'm sure still players will play the raid and be a part of it, even with the ICC buff, and just have fun while it lasts until it eventually kind of gets to, you know, a state where it's just like a very small community, which is nothing wrong with that, because I always love small communities. I was part of video games where there were small communities. People would call it quote unquote dead, but we still loved the game, and people had very fun moments with that. And especially, even for example, the Battlefront movement right now. Battlefront movement, like, where the game had, like, I think sub 5k players, 4k players, and I was a big fan of Battlefront. And ever since people been moving around on TikTok, which I know this sounds crazy, but players been playing the game. I think it's like 16-20k, you know. And it goes to show you, it takes one little small move for something to get revived, or something possibly just have, you know, some rhythm getting behind it again. So I think that's pretty cool when the community comes together to do something pretty awesome. But let's end this off. We sincerely thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of SOD. Thank you for all you were playing with us and making new friends with us, for giving us feedback, for pushing boundaries of what content set in the original WoW could look like, and more than anything, thank you for being passionate about World of Warcraft from the WoW Classic development team. And honestly, chat, I've always had my respect for the developers. I am not one to bash them. I'm not one to rip on them. I have faith in Agron. I believe he truthfully loves this game. He really does. And sometimes people, they don't understand what it's like to be in that position, nor do I, because I am not, you know, a developer, but I can at least have a brain to fucking think about the fact that they have to go through a lot, you know, and they're under a lot of stress and a lot of, you know, due dates and times that they have to meet a certain criteria and put things out, and working on multiple projects. And what they provided for me and a lot of other players was probably the best experience I've had in World of Warcraft in a long fucking time, just being honest with you. With that being said, though, I think that is pretty much it for the video. I don't want to rant too much. It's really just a small style video of just reading this post and talking with you guys and getting your opinions on what do you think about Season of Discovery overall. Did you have a good time with it? Do you appreciate what Agron put with the post? And what are you looking forward to the future if Classic Plus does come? Maybe we'll have a follow-up video with that as well to dive a little bit deeper into that. But that's about it, amigos. Much love to you. Keep on keeping on. All that good stuff. Lock it in, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Say bye, Twitch chat. Say something to them. They're trying to pack us up. It's unbelievable. I'm out of here, bitches. Peace.